The retail sector group is made up of a number of individuals. We've got town centre managers, retailers, local authorities and individuals that are just keen to push forward their interests in the local communities for the benefit of their town. The aim of the sector group is to push forward the Retail Pathfinder status, which we were awarded by central government back in 2012. Having Retail Pathfinder status is fantastic for Gloucestershire. It enables us to push forward initiatives at both a local level and also through to a national and in some instances international level. We're now into year 2 of the Retail Pathfinder status, and we've got a number of initiatives we want to achieve. We've got retail entrepreneurship, we've got skills, we've got digital high streets, and our primary objective is to push forward the Retailer Toolkit. The aim of the Retail Toolkit is to enable a town or city to push forward its initiatives. It's a structured document. The Retailer Toolkit generates confidence in the town teams. It gives them a structured document and it enables them to push forward and really set a direction and a course for their improvement in their city. We'll now hear from 2 towns which have both utilised the Retailer Toolkit.
My initial thoughts when we received the toolkit was, oh my God, this is quite a daunting document. It's a very weighty document and does need a lot of reading. However, when you get behind all of the detail in there and look at it in bite-sized pieces, I think it's a document that has a lot to offer local high streets. When we started to look at depth at the toolkit, we thought this is a document that gives us a framework to see how we might develop plans for the future of our high street. For example, what do we do about car parking? What are the issues facing the town? What about attracting more visitors to the town? So this document really broke down many of the issues I'm sure many market towns face and has enabled us to focus on them. We've used the toolkit in a number of ways. We've looked at it as part of the Trust and the Cirencester Chamber of Commerce to see which areas are particularly relevant to Cirencester. We've also been very lucky and fortunate that we've been able to work with the Royal Agricultural University and a number of their students to look in more detail at specific parts, particularly around IT, particularly around vacant shops, and also about new initiatives that we can do in Cirencester. The toolkit is a very useful document for Cirencester. It's given us some structure to enable us, when we're looking at the challenges we face, how can we address them in a very methodical way. We haven't looked at all of the areas, but we've looked at the bits that are particularly relevant to Cirencester. And as I said before, that structure gives you some confidence that you are going in the right direction. I think this toolkit can be applicable to any town, village or city, regardless of its size. I would encourage them to look at it and just choose the bits that are particularly relevant to them. I expect they'll already know them, but this toolkit will give them confidence that they are going down the right track. I think that toolkit will in the long term offer some real economic benefit to the towns that look to implement it.
The Retail Toolkit has benefited the university through actually giving the students an opportunity to look at the toolkit, to actually take that as a real life project for the students. We'd like to work further with Cirencester to actually get into some more detailed projects, to actually use our students with our academics and actually use the experience that they have, particularly our academics that worked internationally, to actually use some models that they've developed and then apply them to Cirencester, see if we can actually use Cirencester as a real live case study for the future.
Our initial thoughts on the toolkit were that we were really excited, but there was also trepidation about whether we could take it on, whether businesses would buy into it. But when we had a full look at it and saw that we could break it down into bite-sized bits, it became really easy to use. The toolkit has worked really well for Tewkesbury. It's allowed us to engage with a wide range of stakeholders, businesses, the local community, and find out about what they think of the town centre, how it works, how they use it. It's just made us see how it can perform, and we've developed that base of evidence for the town centre. We've worked with Tewkesbury Town team to use the toolkit to assess data for our town centre. The first step was to assess the perception of what personality Tewkesbury has, and then we went on to collect data on a range of indicators. We chose footfall and we chose an on-street survey to assess how people use the town, why they use it, any barriers to using the town. In terms of our town team, it has helped us to develop a range of projects for the town and also shape those projects moving forward. It's allowed us to develop more markets for the town, a regular farmers market, a vintage trail. The key strengths of the toolkit are that it's a flexible document that you can dip in and out of. You can select bits to start with and then build on those. It's also a document that can be adapted to any size of town, city, parade of shops. It really can be used by anybody. Our next steps with the toolkit are to build on the evidence that we've already started to collate. We'll be also doing a survey with the businesses in town to get their perceptions to feed in to the work we've already done. We will then be developing a full action plan of projects to support the future vitality and performance of the town centre.
With the toolkit, we discovered that people like the markets in town, they like the theatre of a market. So what we wanted to do was build on that. So what we've done is we've introduced a once monthly farmers market in the town. We've also started doing some food and craft markets in the high street, which people always love. I think there's something quite exciting about having the high street closed and that sort of bit of being able to walk around in the road and having different craft people and everything. The idea of the toolkit is not only to get tourists and visitors to come into the town, but to get the local people to use the town as well.
My passion is all around retail, as I was very lucky to be part of a great growth story here in Gloucestershire around a brand called Superdry. For 22 years I helped grow a brand from SME to PLC, eventually floating on the stock exchange here in Great Britain, proving that you don't have to be in London to grow a great retail story. GFirst LEP is totally committed to retail and the retail sector as it affects all of our county, from our market towns, from Cheltenham and Gloucester, right through to our tiny country villages. As part of a government initiative, we've actually become a Retail Pathfinder LEP, which means we have a specialism here in this county for retail, and that expertise is then spread across all the other local enterprise partnerships across the UK, spreading good practice as to how we have to change our high streets to fit with our changing lifestyles. The Retail Toolkit is very much part of this evolution of our high street, and we're very proud that Cirencester and Tewkesbury have taken this toolkit on board and are making it work for them. We are kick-starting a change in our high street by using the toolkit. We are also hopeful that our other towns and market towns here in Gloucestershire will start to use that toolkit with great results. The retail sector is important to all of us across the UK. It affects growth in all of our local economies. The concentration of GFirst LEP around retail is not just about changing our high street, it's about building the next new brand. It's about changing our high streets for the better and making them a vibrant community.